Good evening, everyone. I decided to do a second video this week. I feel like I've had a lot on my mind. Oh my goodness, look how cute this little pig is. Look at his little curly tail. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Super cute. So I just decided that I was gonna go do another check-in this week just because I feel like my first one for the week was I was very somber, but it's definitely one day at a time, right? Definitely a lot going on, and so today I just have this week. I've just felt like there's a lot going on. So anyway, I think my last check-in, I talked a little bit about making decisions and things like that. I don't know if I want to go that way this time. I'm not actually even sure what I want to talk about right now. I just kind of want to be on here. Oh, look at the baby cow. Oh my goodness. Look how little tiny he is. Oh my goodness. So cute. Hi, Mr. Llama. Super cute. Love it, love it, love it. So he's like, get away from my baby cow. That cow literally just headbutted me. Okay. Anyway, oh man, we got lots of animals today. Look at that. So I think today I'm going to talk about positivity. And I don't even necessarily know if I want to talk about positivity and mental health or just positivity in general. I started this channel to be like a mental health awareness, and I still think it kind of is because I definitely deal with some conditions. However, it's kind of become a platform where I just get to talk about everyday struggles, and I don't think that you necessarily have to have a mental health illness to be a part of this channel. I think these things we're talking about, these are things that people deal with every day, like I kind of said in the beginning of my last video. Sorry, I've had trouble with like losing my voice lately. Anyway, so yeah, positivity, being positive, being a positive person, and negativity and how it affects us. In my own personal experience this last few weeks, and throughout life, right? Whoa, I just about fell down into a canyon. Holy Hannah banana. That was a little scary. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, positivity. I don't think we realize how much putting yourself in a positive space can affect you, right? So today's kind of one of my days off that I get every week, and one of my days off per week, I use that day to just like meditate and reflect on everything that has gone on throughout my week or is going on in my life. So today's Tuesday. So every Tuesday, I stay off, social platforms pretty much, mostly, Facebook. I don't interact, with anything that isn't, I try not to interact with anything that's not positive, right? I try to use one day a week to just like cleanse and do nothing. So I know you've been wondering why I'm floating around here. So I'm gonna take a break from my house for a little while, and I'm gonna build, I think, my first farmhouse. And so I'm trying to decide, where do I want to put it and who am I building an enclosure for? So I'm thinking I want to do a farmhouse here, and then like not a very big one either, and then probably like my horses, pigs, chickens, cows right here in this area. And then we'll move on to something else. But anyway, that's why I'm kind of floating around. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. I use one day a week to try to just get away from everything and be positive. And that's also typically why I do these videos on mostly on Tuesdays. Sometimes I do them on Mondays or Sunday nights or whatever, but mostly Tuesdays I do these videos because this is part of, like I said in my very, very first video, this is part of me managing my mental health. This is a time that I get to relax and that I get to just shut off my brain. And, ooh, should we build a red barn house? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna do it. Maybe I should do it with wood planks. Is there any red? There is. Oh my gosh, this farmhouse is going to be so cliche, you guys. It's totally going to be like an original old barnyard house. Anyway, so yeah, so this is my day. So I have found myself in the last few days and the last few months in a lot of really negative space, either in my own head or I do have, certain people around me that there's a lot of negativity around them as well. Just whether it be in my workspace or, seeing negativity on Facebook too. I really don't try not to get on there anymore, but a lot of social platforms, just because no matter what you say or do, somebody's always got something negative to say towards you. And it gets exhausting. Like it gets tiring and it gets old. And anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with that. And so I got to a point today where I was like, okay, enough is enough. Like I'm gonna ignore this subject or, whatever, ignore this person, because I need my peace. We all need our peace, right? And I just got to a point today where I was praying like, God, help me maintain my peace, right? Because your own level of peace, no matter what it is, or no matter how let me see what this looks like here. I don't want to get too crazy. I don't want it to be that big, I don't think. Anyway, you have to maintain a level of peace in your life, and you have to get to a point where you can't let anything steal your peace. Just for the simple fact that without some level of peace, you're just going to go crazy. I mean, for me anyway. I don't know. So I guess in talking to you all, I would love to hear how people maintain their own level of peace. Like, okay, that looks good. I think. And we're going to fill all of this in with grass as well. So, anyway, how do other people out there maintain their level of peace? Mine is my one day. I mean, obviously mine is this, being here with you guys and being able to talk about the things I'm going through and talk about the feelings that I have. And then, there's other things I do too. I try to exercise. That brings me a huge level of peace because I think it allows me to exude that nervous energy that I keep within myself. So there's just many ways that you can maintain your peace. I think being honest about your feelings about a situation or about someone or about something that you're going through in your life, that's a way to maintain your level of peace as well. Because I think, and I'm just speaking from what I've seen or experiences in my life, that when we're going through something extremely difficult, and it can be anything, I think sometimes we're not always honest with ourselves about how we feel and about a situation. I think sometimes you want so badly to not feel what you're feeling that you will lie to yourself and tell yourself you don't feel that way. And like, has anybody ever done that? I don't know. This is not, I guess this kind of looks like a barn. I don't know. But anyway, has anybody ever done that where you just, the situation is so difficult and you just want it so badly to be one way? And so you tell yourself what you want to hear, right? And that's not always healthy. I think that a lot of times to avoid certain things or certain situations, we also tell other people what they want to hear. Maybe not always. And, maybe it could be in a work situation, like for instance, when you're talking to someone and it could be a boss, it could be a coworker. I don't know why this plant is trying to take over my barn, but it is. And say you're discussing a situation at work and you may or may not misunderstand each other, which happens to me and one of my friends at work a lot. And I think part of that just goes along with learning how to properly navigate relationships, right? But at the same time, like, you think you're right, the other person thinks they're right, and so you guys just end up telling each other what you want to hear because you're tired of the conversation. Do you know what I mean? You're tired of trying to explain yourself. Because you have your own perception and your own way of thinking, but so does that other person. And so you're both just going to be right or wrong either way. And you just get tired of the back and forth, right? But I think we can do that with ourselves a lot too. Like I was journaling today, and I know what's in my heart. I know what I need to talk about and what I need to think about and what I need to. I don't know if these walls are tall enough. I guess these walls are tall enough. I don't know how many layers I've done, but I think that's enough. Maybe one more. Anyway, I was journaling today. Sorry, I keep like losing my voice and coughing, but I was journaling today, and man, I just had some really heavy stuff on my heart, you know? And I don't know if I was necessarily lying to myself, but I was like making excuses for myself as to like maybe like what, I don't know how to explain it. I don't really want to explain it in a way that I'm telling you my personal business, but like I want to help. So I basically was just feeling hurt about some things, right? So I was journaling, and in my journaling, I noticed that I was writing like stuff along the lines of like, well, I feel this certain way, but it's okay because, you know, maybe it's not really that way. Like I was justifying or I'm not saying the right word for it. Discounting my feelings, you know? Like telling myself, well, you know, it's really not that bad. You're just kind of being dramatic. But that's not true. In my heart, it is that bad. And when you feel a certain way, it's okay to feel that way, even if it hurts your own feelings or someone else's. You feel how you feel, and your feelings are valid. And I don't know how I got on feelings from the conversation we started with, but here we are. See, this is what happens when your brain goes quickly all the time. But anyway, we just have to not discount ourselves, and we have to not lie to ourselves or others about how we feel. I'm pretty sure I have a pig. I do have a pig inside my barn. Well, if he stays in there, he's just going to become my pig. That's just how it is. So I wanted to put the cows and the pigs and the chickens and maybe even sheep in the same barn. However, from what I have seen so far, the cows are kind of bullies, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. Anyway, I guess that's just where I'm at today. I feel, there's some situations I feel frustrated about, and I'm just trying to sort through them and make sure that I'm sorting through them in a good way while still, feeling like the way that I am handling things is correct. This barn is going to be cool, but I'm not really sure how I want to do the roof. I think I'll just do it in like regular red blocks. Negativity. That's where we were. I kind of forgot what we were talking about for a minute. But it happens. This is all part of the loveliness of mental health. So yeah, negativity. It creates a lot of stress. Unnecessary stress. I just want to live my life and raise my son, and I think when you put yourselves in a negative space, that very thing can be very hard to do, because it takes away your peace, it takes away your joy, and my poor son has a cold. I don't know if you can hear him coughing in the background. Poor little guy. Poor little guy. And anyway, for me lately, negativity has been something I've been dealing with myself, and through, a couple people that I know that are breathing negativity into my space. And I just want it to go away. I just want this positiveness, I don't want to feel like I think I put too much pressure on myself as well, though, and I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I do something wrong, like when I make a mistake, I put this pressure on myself, like, I don't know why, but I immediately get like offensive. And I don't know if anybody else does that, but like when I make a mistake on something, I immediately get offensive towards the person that pointed out the mistake, which I should not do. Like, absolutely should not do, right? Because we all need to be able to take constructive criticism, I guess is what you'd call it, right? And I suck at that. But I don't think it's because I'm trying to be like mean or hurtful or rude or disrespectful in any way. I think it's because I put so much pressure on myself to do good and to that was wrong. I think this side only has one layer. Oh, anyway, I put so much pressure on myself to do good and to do it correctly, right? Like I once I learn something, I usually pretty much know it. And I don't want to say like I'm on a high horse because I don't think that I am. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. But I put so much pressure on myself once I know how to do something that I should know it. And if somebody tells me I've done it wrong, then that's me failing, right? Like that's where my head goes with it. And I think that's probably a normal thing that a lot of people do. You immediately feel like if you say there was a procedure that I needed to do. Well, I worked in dental assisting for a really long time, right? Say that I maybe put my notes in wrong one day, you know? Or something silly like that. I don't know what it would be, but I mean, in dental assisting, that's a pretty big mistake because, you know, your charts are technically legal documents because they go to insurance. But if you think about it, like as a person, I'm only human. So it's really not a mistake that's that big of a deal when you can turn around and fix it, right? You can fix your notes. But I would immediately be angry that someone pointed it out to me, which I shouldn't be. And I don't always get that way, but I have, you know, in the past, definitely been that way. Definitely been frustrated and angry when somebody has pointed out a mistake to me, and I think it's this mentality of like I don't think it's the mentality of me trying to deliberately be rude. I just think that I beat myself up, and I think a lot of us do that. And I don't know, maybe we don't. But if there's anybody else out there that's like me and that when you make a mistake, you beat yourself up over it, I know how you feel. It sucks. Because the other people from the outside looking in see you as this like little ball of anger that can't be molded or isn't easily, I don't know what the word for it would be, isn't easily taught, I guess. And that's not something good that you want people to think about you when, especially when you're in a workplace or in your career or whatever, right? Or even when you're parenting. You know, parenting is a learning game 100%. Like, you are learning on the fly, man. Like, there is no jokes when it comes to parenting. And I think that what I'm talking about now has a lot to do with negativity. You treat yourself negatively when things aren't perfect. And that negativity can eat you alive. Like, we have to learn to look at ourselves positively. Like, okay, I didn't do it right this time, but this means that next time I will. Instead of saying, gosh darn it, I screwed this up and man, I'm so stupid. You know, the way we talk to ourselves is so important. Like, and I don't know if anybody else out there struggles with this, but I definitely do. I definitely beat the crap out of myself the second I do something wrong, the second I make a mistake. And then I want to know how to do it correctly. And then the worst part is that sometimes when you want to know so badly how to do it correctly, you'll reach out to people to find out the correct way, and those people might give you the wrong information. So that can be frustrating too, you know, and you just continue. It's like this vicious cycle. You just continue to beat yourself up over whatever it is, whether it's a bad choice in parenting, whether it's a bad choice at your workplace, whether it's a bad choice in the way that you've spoke to someone you care about. You know, I had this lady once tell me, and this like, I know a lot of kids nowadays, they call it manifestation, but I'm old. When I first heard about it, I had this lady that I knew, and she told me that her son always told her, and this was before I'd ever heard anything about manifestation, right? So she said, my son told me, what you think about, you bring about, right? So if I am constantly thinking negative thoughts and constantly hard on myself and beating myself up when I shouldn't be, then that's just how it's going to be, right? My thoughts, my actions, my dealings with people or whatever, they're going to be negative because that is all that I have brought about, right? What you think about, you bring about. I loved her. She was a really cool lady. I haven't seen her in a lot of years, but she was right. She was so right. Like, if I was going to continue being negative and continue saying, you know, poor me, and I'm never going to be able to do this, I'm not going to be able to accomplish this, I didn't do this right, so gosh darn it, I'm just worthless. Like, if I'm going to think about those things, then those are the things that I'm going to bring about. And I just love that. I love knowing that, because now when things happen, I'm not perfect. I don't always think the right thing, and I don't always stay 100% positive all the time. I don't know if that's even possible, but I try really hard to just drown out the negative with positive. And I know it sounds really cliche, you know, positive affirmations, but it's true. It works. And I think a lot of us that, especially some of us that are neurodivergent, man, if we could just remember to think the right thoughts in the right moment. Like, I noticed a couple weeks ago, I was doing this, I was praying a lot about being able to trust people, or being able to trust at all. I just had this really bad habit of seeing the worst in people, and just thinking every time somebody did anything towards me or said anything towards me, that there was an ulterior motive and this person wanted something from me. And sometimes they do. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes there's people out there who do just want something from you and who do have an ulterior motive. But there's a lot of darn people that don't. And I didn't see it that way. And I remember praying just a couple weeks ago, and it really hit me hard because I was reading, I don't even remember exactly what I was doing, but I think I was reading like some type of a Bible study on trust, and praying about a situation that was going on, you know, with myself personally, where I was really struggling with, and really kind of, there was another person involved, and I was really kind of like, constantly, every time she reached out to me, I always thought she was out to get me. Like, I just always thought she was out to get me, and she wasn't. She literally was and is still just trying to help me by the things that she says or points out to me. But I could not take it for what it was. I could not trust her not to be being condescending or not to be being mean to me in some way. Like, that's how I saw it. That's how it felt to me. And then I was doing this prayer, and I said, God, please let me trust that not everyone's out to get me. And the first thought that came to my mind was, you don't trust anyone. And man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. That thought was true. I don't trust anyone. And why should I? Because just about everyone I've ever trusted, and I probably shouldn't say it that way and put it in a group like that, because this probably isn't 100% true. It's just the way my mind perceives it. Everyone I've ever trusted has hurt me in some way. And that's just how my mind perceives it. But also, I'm sure my mind is being slightly dramatic there, because I can think of some people in the world who I've trusted who have genuinely been there for me and not hurt me. But the thing is that I couldn't trust them either, because I was already in a point at such a young age of not being able to trust anyone, So even the people that were there for me, I was terrible to, because of that old belief, that old thought in my mind that I just absolutely couldn't trust anyone. So I'm working on that. And I think that has a lot to do with what we've talked about today with negativity. Well, what we've talked about right now with negativity is that I absolutely can trust some people. I absolutely can. I absolutely can allow myself to trust. Do I want to? No, I sure don't. I sure don't. Because I know the pain of what it feels like when you lose, when you do trust someone and they hurt you and they break you. So, no, I don't really want to try to trust anyone, but there are a few people in this world that I am learning to trust. And I think that I will get there. And I think the way that I'm going to get there is by learning to have a positive outlook on relationships, on attitudes towards people, at my workplace, at home, being kinder and trying to be positive even when I don't want to be, I think is what is going to allow me to break that cycle of not being able to trust anyone. So we shall see, people, we shall see. I don't know if anything I said in this video makes any sense. I don't know if I've just been rambling on for no reason at all, but I do hope that whatever I have said reaches someone and helps someone, because that's my goal here. My goal is to help people. And so I hope that I've done that with this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find me on Facebook under Jenny's Gaming Therapy. And look at that, I got a refrigerator with doors. That's sick. Anyway, so I hope that you guys all have a good night, and I hope we can all work harder on being positive and learning to trust one another a little bit more. But be careful, because trusting can also get you hurt. So have a good night, everyone.